guys, and welcome back to Mummy Cooks Homemade. So this is a new series. I did a poll on what you guys wanted, and the top was Hearty homemade meals and second was Frugal. So I've combined the two and done Hearty but Frugal series. So this is part 1 of 4 and there's 2 recipes for each part. So we'll start with a bit of carrot. This you will need to adapt to however many you have in your family, obviously. So this starts with carrot, parsnip and celery. If you have a bit of spare cash, stick some meat in there. You can put what you like in there. There's onion in there as well, I've just noticed. But this is meant to be like a money saving frugal meal. That's filling. So that's the cheap brand from, is it Little or Oldie? Simply, I think it's Oldie from the back of the tin. So that's chopped tomatoes. The point is to look for the cheapest brand on each. Then I got some Morrison's baked beans. This is a super healthy, high in fibre, low fat meal. Then we've got haricot beans. I always shove it too near the camera, I don't know why. They were previously drained. So you can see this pan is already starting to fill up. Just keep that cooking. You want all your vegetables to be tender. This is good if you want it on top of rice, if you want it on top of jacket potatoes. Put it with whatever you want to put it with. So I'm adding in some garlic. You can use fresh if you've got fresh. That's onion. As you can see, I've used fresh and I've used powdered. That's mixed herbs. So you just put in as much flavour as you can into minimal ingredients. Then season it with salt and pepper. Give that a good mix. And this is just simply a bean and vegetable casserole. Like I say, you can add it to whatever meal you decide you want to add it to, or eat it out of a bowl. I mean, it's up to you at the end of the day. This makes 10 individual portions. That's one of them tiny cans of tomato paste, so I would say that's between 2 and 3 tablespoons. Cook that through. You're going to leave this on the hob once you've put everything in anyway. So that's chicken stock, 250 ml of that. And I'm going to add in some water as well, the same amount. Just going to get that a good mix. Get me head in the shot there. My grey hairs. So you're just going to allow this to cook on low, the lowest that you get your oven to go. So I'm putting that over because these pans are really good for, that was it. I just cooked it until everything was tender. That's 2 portions per container I've got there out of that. And I literally just cooked it until the vegetables were tender and portioned it up. And these went to mother and father-in-law. And there's a portion that Steve had on pasta. So the next recipe, this was just a recipe off the top of my head, to be perfectly honest. I was still thinking about what I was going to do while I was slicing these into wedges. But we'll just call this tuna and potato wedge melt, shall we? We'll just call it that, because I haven't got a name for it. So this is the second recipe. I was meant to... I asked mother-in-law if she wanted some of these, you know, potted up like the last recipe. Problem is we ate it. And they didn't get none. So I want to make it again. I'll have to do them some. This was so nice. This turned out a lot better than we expected. And you'll see, I've got one child in this house who won't eat mayonnaise. And the other child loves it. So I have to do two different ones there. Then we've got Steve. Steve, who eats everything spicy. If it ain't got spice in, and then he can't taste it. Is one of them. So, yeah. That's when things become tricky in my house, when you've got people that all eat the same thing, but in a different way, if that makes sense. So anyway, I'm doing my potatoes. My potatoes needed using up, so it was a good way to use my potatoes. I'm going to parboil these for 10 minutes, which will help with the air fry process. I'm going to do mine in the air fryer. Do you have to do them in the air fryer? No, not at all. You can put them straight into the oven. Make sure they're on one layer. This is such a cheap meal as well. This did all 4 of us, but we're pigs. It would probably have easily done 6 to 7 people. I mean, look how many wedges there is. We're dustbins, literally. So, I part cooked them. So, what I'm going to use, you don't have to flavour yours the same way that I do. So, I'm doing the kids first. Garlic oil. Onion flakes, because I've got one that's averse to onions. So, I use flakes. Garlic. I always use the oil and powder. Sorry about that, that's my phone. I'm popular. Actually, it's not, it's probably eBay. So that was oregano and parsley. Give them a mix up. And then straight into the air fryer, look. And they'll go in. I always say I put everything on low, so the girls are getting ready to come out, look, of the air fryer. So I've emptied them a tin of tuna. And these were on offer from Lidl. It was $16.99 and I think it was 40 odd tins. And it was a lovely lady on Instagram who shared that. And then sent mother-in-law out to get them. Bless her. Bless the little heart. I only said, if you come across them, can you get me them? And she grabbed them, bless her. So, into their tuna, I'm going to do Caitlin's first. Now, Caitlin's my fussy one. She'll eat cream cheese, but she isn't going to touch anything that's got mayo attached to it. So I thought, I'm not using all those different pots and washing them up. So I went for my tins. Now, this looks as though it's got mayo in, so when I gave it to Caitlin, you should have seen the look on her face. She looked at it as if to say, oh, heck, this has got mayo in it. And I had to convince her that it didn't. It was hilarious. So I'm going to grate up some cheese as well. You don't have to use cheese if you don't want to use cheese. If you can't afford to get the cheese in. A lot of people are struggling right now. Don't get the cheese. There's plenty there with the mayo. I used it because I had it. But I've got to say, it was delicious with the cheese. So, these are the kids. So, I'm going to put their wedges in. And it was really quick to do this meal. Even though I've still got some more at the back to go in, it was still really quick. I cooked them on a low temperature wedges until I can get a fork through them properly. And then I turn the heat up to crisp them, which does not take long in my air fryer. So you can see, that's what the kids have got. And they stayed crispy, which was important as well. So we've got Caitlin's tin over on the right. The only difference to Amy's will be the addition of mayonnaise. So I'm going to put some on Caitlin's. You can see that mixture there is not soaking wet. That's why it doesn't make everything mushy underneath. You could put this back in the air fryer. See, I used the cheese to cover the tuna to make sure that it didn't go hard underneath the. You could either put them back in the air fryer to grill. I've got a oven and grill in my microwave, so I used that. Put them in there. Or you could use the grill in your oven. Or put them in your oven for another 5 minutes. It's up to you. So I've added mayo to Amy's. She absolutely loves mayo. And she said hers didn't go mushy or sloppy either. So there's Amy's, and I'm going to put cheese on Amy's now. And these I'm literally going to grill for 4 to 5 minutes, not 45. 4 to 5 minutes in my microwave oven grill until they're bubbling. So you've got one with mayo, one without, and that is just my life with the kids. So now I'm going through the same process again, but I'm putting more seasoning in, especially the pepper, because kids are not a massive fan of pepper, to be perfectly honest. I mean, the kids who is. Some more parsley. Same as before, guys. There will be one difference. Ooh, that went a bit out of focus. That is sriracha. And I've added a little bit, which I could taste. I mean, at this point, everybody knows I'm a wuss. Okay? I'm not going to deny it. I'm just a wuss. I could taste that anyway. So that goes into the air fryer. Same deal as with the kids. And cook them off. And that's what it looks like, even though I've shoved it in. Let the camera focus, look. I'm doing it again, look. I'm just shoving it in front of the camera and don't focus. So that was the kids. So this is mine and Steve. Everything will go into ours. We're not as fussy as Caitlin is. Bless her heart. I'll get her to eat stew and shepherd's pie and mayo before she leaves home. She used to love all that stuff as a small child, but she won't eat anything bar that tuna thing, and she pulled her face at that. But she doesn't like food that's mixed up, like shepherd's pie where the base is all mixed up together in the gravy. She doesn't like things like that. And the same goes for stew, and she used to love that as a baby. But can I get her to eat it? Nope. And my Amy, on the other hand, oh, she can't get enough of it, and she loves dumplings. Absolutely loves dumplings. And she loves the crusty bread you dip in it as well. But Caitlin, yeah, she's an awkward one. So this is mine and Steve's. I'm mixing up while the wedges are cooking away. And it's in my mouth again. Don't matter, guys. It's only for Steve. Where have I gone? Come back, Hayley. Oh, there I am. Yep, put some seasoning in that. That kosher salt we're using is so much better, I found. It's not nearly as strong. There's other types of salt. I mean, we've got smoked salt, garlic salt. We've got all sorts of different salts. Rock salt, Himalayan, Malden. sea salt flakes. Right, nice and crispy. Chili flakes, so you know whose these are going on. This is what I mean. There was absolutely 4 different, even though there's slight differences, 4 different types out of the same base meal. So you really haven't got to mess about that much. And we didn't have anything else with this, guys. We had this. Nothing else with it, and it was so filling. Steve really enjoyed it. He said he could tell there were chili flakes in it, but there weren't enough. That sums my Steve up. So as you can see, it's like I said, you could have got more portions out of this, but we're just pigs. What can I say? So this is a cheap meal, another cheap meal. 2 tins of tuna for 4 people. Bulked it out with a tablespoon of cream cheese in each dish of mayo. And some mayonnaise. Each dish of mayo. Each dish of tuna. Some more chili flakes on Steve's. So, there we go. Pop some of the good stuff on. I bet you'll give yourself more than I give in. I cook, I decide. Although how many wives out there can agree with this? See, I didn't even use all that bowl because we didn't need it. Yeah, how many wives can agree with this? Yesterday I cooked a meal and it was topped off with egg, but I only had 3 eggs. So I gave 1 to each of the kids and 1 to Steve, even though I wanted 1. How many wives do that? Always thinking about the rest of the family, but you yourself go without. I do that all the time. All the time. If I've miscalculated on something or don't realise that there ain't enough of something, then it's the others that get it. So, oh, I lied. Look, side salad. Steve had a salad with his. And that was basically to use up what we had. But look at that. That is so nice. So, so nice. Little effort. And we was really surprised by how nice that was. Yeah, so that was the second frugal meal. So I hope you liked the first episode. Please let me know down in the comments so I know what to do for the next one. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.